In recent months, numerous efforts of dangerous avalanches in the Himalayas have made headlines. These sudden releases of snow, ice and rocks have resulted in the death of at least 120 people in the last 2 years. Our next report gets you more on how Himalayan avalanches are an increasing risk for climbers in a warming climate. Take a look. The tallest mountain range in the world, the Himalayas, are part of a region known as the Third Pole. These mountains, alongside the Tibetan Plateau and the Hindu Kush Mountains, are home to the largest permanent ice mass outside of the Arctic and Antarctic. But unlike the far north and far south, the Third Pole, spanning 5 million square kilometers, has direct impacts on a huge slice of humanity. More than 40 million people live in the Himalayan region, and nearly 3 billion people live in the river basins that flow from the ice in the mountains. But now that ice is melting faster, and it is resulting in deadly consequences. According to a recent analysis, climate in the mighty yet fragile snow-covered Himalayas is changing rapidly. Top mountain researchers have found that in the past 25 years, winters in the northwestern Himalayas are getting warmer and wetter with less snowfall. This warming is leading to a greater risk of wet avalanches in the western Indian Himalayas. Experts add that global heating is aggravating the risk of high-altitude mountaineering during the climbing season in the Himalayan mountain range. And over the past 50 years, at least 564 people lost their lives due to avalanches while climbing peaks above 4,500 meters in the Himalayas. Capping the data to the 14 peaks above 8,000 meters and a few other major climbing peaks above 6,000 meters in the Himalayas. At least 1,400 people have died during high-altitude mountaineering between 1895 and 2022. And out of these, at least 33% of the deaths were because of avalanches. Now, even within the Himalayas, the climate varies according to the altitude of the mountains. Hence, the Himalayan regions were divided into at least 3 zones with similar elevations. The lower Himalayas are characterized by moderate temperatures and high rainfall. The greater Himalayas are colder with dry snowfall, and the Karakoram region is further up north where it is frigid and largely blanketed with swathes of glaciers. Experts found that in the northwestern Himalayas, average temperatures rose by 0.65 degrees Celsius since 1991. The greater Himalayan region saw the highest rise in average temperature of 0.87 degrees Celsius. And the Karakoram range witnessed an average increase of 0.56 degrees Celsius. Then, using statistical modeling, experts linked increased air temperatures in late winter and early spring to a higher probability of avalanches. The authors stressed that the transformation of dry snowpacks into wet snowpacks is decisive for the release of snow avalanches in the region. Specifically, the rise in liquid water content of the snowpack makes it unstable and thus prone to trigger wet snow avalanches. Also, moving snow with more water has less friction, so it slides downhill easily, which can increase the distance travelled by the snow, known as run-out distances. Lastly, experts in their analysis conclude that rising temperatures are pushing the number of avalanches up. But the frequency won't continue rising forever, as after a certain threshold, the number of avalanches is limited by the speed with which snowpack accumulates. And with snowfall declining, accumulation will be slower, eventually capping the number of avalanches possible. So on the bright side, climate change-driven avalanches will only continue until climate change dries up all the snow. Thus, it's a problem that solves itself until the next one. Bureau Report, WION World.